Let me just get this out of the way first to show you. Put a new belt on, and I want to show you that this motor is square, right? And I had a hard time doing that. So they want you to measure from here, sheet metal, to here on both sides to make sure it's the same. All right. So what I did was I measured the distance from here to here with a tape measure of this piece of channel, and it's 6 7/8 inches on both sides. So I know that since it's welded in 6 7/8, if I measure from the face of the motor to the back of this bracket, that it would give me the same as measuring the other side. So as long as it's the same there, we're good to go. So let's see if I can do this with this camera in my hand and run these calipers. All right, so you can see that I'm measuring there to there. All right, and that measurement is 5413. So we'll go to the other side, and we're trying to make sure that the motor's square. So that means the clutch and stuff is square into the machine. All right, so here I am again. This is really hard to do with. Here we go, I got it. All right, so I measure it again, and we are 5340. So we're really close to being square, right? But what I'm trying to say is that squareness measurement is kind of lame because it's not square. Well, actually, let me rephrase. It's not, there's no reference to be square against the way they tell you to measure. So look here. See this idler pulley? Watch what happens when the belt's going in the drive direction, right? It tracks to the inside of the idler. If it tracks to the outside, if we turn it the opposite way, it tracks to the outside. And if I put this down here, you can see it kind of gets a twist in the belt when I turn it to the inside. You see that? It's riding to the inside lip of the belt. So they're saying that the motor isn't square, right? Nothing's square on this thing, guys. I mean, they tell you to do things like, let's zero this caliper out. They'll say like, you need to measure from the sheet metal to the face of the wheel, okay? And that's going to give you a measurement here. Let me open these calipers again. God, this is so hard to do with one hand, guys. Trying to film. All right, so here we go. So I measure that distance, and I get 1687. 1687. So I come to the other side, you know, so the spoke's horizontal, so I know that we're kind of parallel off. If I do the same thing on this side, I'm at 1736. Now here's where things get interesting. All right, so the way this is designed, there's a piece of box channel that runs all the way across, and that's kind of the base for the whole chassis, right? Well, if you see that this little angle bracket that holds the blade guard is welded on, whether it's flush or not, I don't know, but you can see that it's flush against the guard here, right? So we're measuring inside the wheel over there, that's fine. But if you look over here, you can see there's a gap. Matter of fact, there's like a seed pod in between there. If we come over here, you can see there's light through there, right? There's light through here because there's an 1/8 of an inch gap right here, guys. And that's not even to the edge of the lip of the wheel. So that gap even gets bigger because the edge of the wheel's out here. If it's an 1/8 and 4 inches, shit, it's like 3/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch, 5/16 of an inch all the way out here at the wheel because the wheel lip is here. Look at the edge of the box. So you see to the edge of the box, this wheel's out here. So is it critical that you measure that? No, it's kind of like a starting point because what matters is, does your band track to the back of the pulley? So they say, well, lay a straight edge across the front of this clutch, right? So if you put a straight edge and register it across there, that everything should be in line. Well, how can that be when this lip thickness is different than this lip thickness? You see how thick that is? That's like 3/16 thick, and this over here is like a 1/16 thick, right, at the lip. So if I measure the face across here, across the front of this wheel, that don't tell you nothing. One thing you can tell is if there's run out in the wheel. If you mount like a dial caliper right here and turn the wheel, you could see if the wheel was, you know, not running true in a plane, which I can do. I can put a dial on there. Man, this thing has been a nightmare for me, guys. You know, they sent a new belt, they sent a new plate. This is the tensioning plate for the tracking on the operator right hand side. You see, that's not an optical illusion from distortion of the lens. It's actually bent, man, and that's factory. So they sent me a new one of those. I installed it. I'll show you over there. And so there was a huge gap at the bottom there, so I installed that. You can see that this washer is loose because this pivot bolt's not tight. I'm just trying to go over everything. And I put a taper on this bolt, right? The reason why I put a taper on it was so that it would actually go into the divot that's inside that block. Speaking of that divot in that block, come on out there, you long-winded sucker. Alright, so I put a little taper on my bolt. See, they got a window on the bottom of this piece of channel right here. Why do they put the window on the bottom, right? Why don't they put the window right here? So you can see, there's like a mouse house underneath the bottom down here. So you can tell if it's in the divot, right here. So when this is in there, it's in the divot. There's a divot in this block. See, this thing just pivots. This whole wheel just pivots on this bolt right here. So this never really gets tight. It just lets this arm pivot back and forth. And this rides in a divot. And if it doesn't sit in that divot, you know, it can pop off. You know, that's what they say. And that's what they said was happening. Well, that doesn't happen because I actually tapered mine and it sits inside that bolt. So I replaced this. I've tapered that to sit into the divot. This is loose. My motor's square. Guys, I'm eating brand new blades. This is a Ripper blade, right? Because they said, you know, some of those Lennox blades, they got oil on them and all this kind of stuff, so you got to use acetone because it's hydroplaning and jazz. It's a Ripper 37. Never seen a piece of wood. It's got broken teeth, popped off my mill. And that's after these new pieces are in, guys. The only thing that I haven't put on that they sent me is this right here. They sent me a new rubber piece. You know, they said use 80 grit sandpaper on that, you know. I don't even know how to change this. Is this a tension fit thing? I guess I'm going to have to call Woodland because I don't want to destroy another part trying to fix it. You know, I'm not trying to re-engineer this mill, guys. I built it. I built airplanes, drag bikes, top fuel Harleys, gas class. I built cars. Like I said, again, experimental airplanes. I built 2 from plans and flown off the required time on them. Guys, I'm pretty mechanically inclined. Something is not right on this mill, guys. And 25 a blade sucks. I paid 50 bucks for 2 Ripper blades because they say they're the best blades of what I'm reading. And put the new parts on it, new belt, square everything up, run it, and bam, I mean, it just comes flying off. It's crazy too. I guess I'm gonna have to get a camera, pull off the doors, and put a camera on a tripod right here and a GoPro over there on that side, and sacrifice a, you know, $400 GoPros to see what's going on. Because when you rotate it, the blade sits on there just fine. You bring it up, you run it all the way up to full RPMs, the blade's on fine, and then you close everything up, get ready to make a cut, and turn on the water. You know, I even ran the water and it didn't come flying off. And then as soon as I give full RPMs and start bringing it into the cut, before I even touch the wood, bam, the band comes flying off, guys. I cannot. I've had this thing for over a month. I haven't cut any lumber. There is all of the stuff that I've cut. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. I've cut 5 cuts or something, and $3,000, and I'm jacking with trying to fix this thing, guys. I'm really upset about this thing, and I don't know what on earth. You know, I did my research, and Woodlands, you know, they have good customer service, and they sent me these parts for free. But man, do they work for free? I'm supposed to work for free and fix this thing, you know, and really disappointed. That's about all I could say, guys. I'm past disappointed on this thing. I want it to work. I want to cut material. I need to cut material. That's why we spent so much to get a good one. You know, Woodlands is supposed to be a good one. What am I supposed to do, guys? Please help me.